All right, ladies and gentlemen, this will be part two of the Braxophone Atsu drama. If you're wondering why I split it up into two parts, it's because the first part was Braxophone's lengthy light novel, which was quite comprehensive, and it was mentally draining and depleting to go through all of that, reading it while also giving my own thoughts. It's important to take a break for me personally. All right, some content creators are able to talk at lengths hours upon hours. That's not me. Important for me to take a break, disconnect, go work out, hang out for a bit, gather my thoughts, come back, because now my mental has been replenished a bit and I'm able to give the highest degree of a take that I'm capable of, as opposed to if I go straight into the Atsu response after talking for an hour straight. Yeah, my thoughts are going to be a bit compromised, again, because my brain's hazy and foggy from sitting there yapping for a whole hour straight. So I split it up into two parts for that reason. Now this part here is going to be about Atsu's response. But before I even go into that, it is important that you guys understand that as of now, there's no tangible evidence to condemn Atsu and make him guilty. Again, quote unquote, there's no tangible evidence. You're welcome to draw your conclusions based off of what you've heard. But if this were in a court, he would be innocent until proven guilty. But that's why I deeply implore the individuals that were brought up in both sides of the parties exchanged in this. I implore you guys to speak up, because you are the witnesses. You are the best evidence that can be presented in these situations. And if you were part of these scenarios, you're able to provide even more substance and a concrete proof as to what really transpired between these two individuals. So speak up, put your cowardice aside, and understand that this is bigger than you. It's okay to be silent when it's only concerning you. It's not okay to be silent if it's not just concerning you, but concerning everyone else. And I would like to say that this is not fucking high school drama. Now, the way it occurred might have been high school drama, but the difference between high school drama and what's happening right now is that you don't get a bag in high school. You're not dealing with businesses and sponsorships in high school. This is somebody's livelihood at stake that they utilize to pay their bills and improve their lifestyle. Okay, this is not no goddamn game. So to the morons trying to sweep it under the rug and pretend like these ain't real problems, these are very real problems. If this guy is behind the scenes jeopardizing this man's livelihood, preventing him from getting sponsorships and growing within our community, that is some very serious shit. And if you don't think it is, allow me to go to your job and start talking shit about you to every single coworker, and then tell the boss, hey man, this guy doesn't need to work here, fuck him. Yeah. And then when you start complaining about it, how about I go up to you and say, hey, it's high school drama, man, not that big of a deal. Hey, it's just your livelihood, buddy. You'll be all right. Case in point, shut the hell up, because you don't know what you're talking about. And it's very ignorant of you to think that this, and to be dismissive of this situation just because it doesn't concern you. All right, here we go. I've just woken up and given this a read. As I'm busy this weekend for IRL work, I will get around to this in much more detail when I get the time, either tonight or Monday. Bro, stating that you're busy at the beginning of an argument is so cringe. Like, it immediately makes me believe that you're the opposite of busy, especially considering that you just wrote a 12-page essay in MLA format, which probably took you an hour to type out. I mean, this is a lot of yapping, and probably took you another hour to proofread to ensure that it had logic to it with regards to all the points you're making. I don't buy the I'm busy. I really don't. Regardless, this will still be a long thread, and it will get extremely heated at times because this man has been obsessed with me for years. Now, what I will say is it is kind of fair for him to make the statement that Braxophone is obsessed, considering the many times that Braxophone has reached out to him after him expressing that he doesn't want to be with him or be friends with him. But at the same time, I would be obsessed if I thought that this individual was in the way of my livelihood and I had to. Actually, I wouldn't be obsessed. I'm not that type of person. I can understand it because he thinks this guy is the reason that I can't get sponsorships. This guy is like the focal point of why I'm not growing as much as I want to, because he's whispering in people's ears behind scenes. I need to make amends with this relationship and repair this so that I don't have to realize. So I get it. But it is fair for him to state this. I am glad Brax has come public with this, as I can finally speak publicly on this matter. I'm the same way. I won't go public with something until somebody else does. Braxophone is indeed the creator I have talked about before on stream that kept trying to force his friendship onto me. It got so bad to the point where, aside from just multiple friends, he started contacting Hoyoverse staff, plural, numerous people of the Hoyoverse staff. He glosses over this as if he messaged only one person to speak on his behalf. Yeah, I'll be honest, like, if I'm not like talking to somebody and then they go and talk to, the company about it, I don't really mess with that either. But again, this This is, yeah, I think Braxophone did state that actually. So that's a bit weird. I'll be honest. It is a bit weird talking to staff to try to reach out to somebody. It just doesn't make sense. I feel like it's misplaced. Unless because there was a time where I was in the Hoyoverse Discord for Honkai Star Rail, and there was a guy who managed the Discord to ensure that everyone was getting along well. So if he was talking to that guy about it, then it's not so weird because that guy's job is to do that, right? To make sure everyone's getting along. But I don't know. I don't know the extent. That's the extent of my knowledge. This was well over a year beyond the point I had told him in DMs explicitly that I do not trust him and made clear I do not want to be friends with him. Yeah, but you never stated why you don't trust him. And honestly, after reading everything that Brax said, you not trusting him based off the things that were explained, the only excuse and pass you get from me was Brax bringing up that somebody did something egregious as an opening to the conversation. But you never even like made it clear that happened. But I guess maybe over time certain things happen. I don't buy this, you know. It's not enough evidence for me to say you don't want to be friends with Brax because you don't trust him. It's still weird. But he asked me up front, and so I told him up front that I do not vibe with him. He explains he's awkward, etc. And okay, fine. That doesn't mean I have to be your friend. Regardless, my assumption on his character was proven to be right anyway. So my problem, which I already discussed in Braxophone's video, is this guy believes he has like the moral high ground to decide who's a bad person and who's a good person off of like the most ridiculous things. I think it's so pompous, condescending, and misplaced. You know what I mean? Based off of what Brax said in that letter, everything about it was genuine and there was no real snake behavior. It was just, I'm not telling you that we got to be friends. I'm just trying to get along. So this shit is weird. You know, does he have the right to say he doesn't want to be somebody's friend? Absolutely. But as I said before, he's not telling you to be his friend. He's saying, be cordial with me and let's get along when we go to the events. Don't ignore me, you know, and let's just get along. You don't have to trust me. That's fine. You can keep me at an arm's length. But from where I'm at, you're not keeping me at an arm's length. You want me out of the goddamn room. You know, so that's important to take into consideration here. Soon after we had this conversation, Brax then starts subtweeting me on his alt account. Seems to be deleted now, and then follows up with a twit longer. I can't access this at the moment, but it should still be up. I clicked on this link and it didn't lead anywhere. He talks about himself, the passing of his dog, and things that are bothering him. So he's tweeting these things, okay, including me not wanting to be his friend and how he feels that ultimately locks him out of opportunities to grow. Understandably, it's an extremely sad situation, but me not wanting to be Braxophone's friend does not mean he can't befriend other people and talk to them. That is absolutely true, but it goes back to the same concept. Y'all are in the same space. You're going to be at the same events. Why are you avoiding him? And anybody who knows Atsu, please let me know. Does this guy come off? Does he try to portray himself as wholesome? Does he try to portray himself as the ultimate, like, responsible, level-headed, and mature individual? Because if he is, then he should know how to be cordial. He should know how to get along with others, even if he doesn't really like them. So if he does portray them, which I don't know him, but if he does give off that, then this is garbage. This is outright garbage. Because in a leadership position, in fact, if you were to switch the roles of Atsu with somebody like either me or Vulcan, regardless of what we feel about Brax in those situations, we're going to try our best to make him feel comfortable and make sure everyone's getting along. We're going to be very inviting and cool. And then after that, we're going to go home because it's business. At the end of the day, I need to get along with these people because I'm going to continue to see them. So the fact that you're so damn weird about this is what turns me off. It's just like, what's up with that? Are you an adult? You are? Well, you can be cordial with him. Like, hey man, what's going on? Yeah. I told you I don't trust you or whatever, which we have that understanding now, but that doesn't mean we can't get along and, be cordial with each other. It's just weird. It's just weird, man. Continuing on, he talks about himself, the passing. Already read that. I would like to think I am friends. Okay, we'll start here. I would like to think I am friends, or at the least on good terms, with the people he name dropped in the twit longer, Ren, Sevi, and 1010, and not once have I spoken to them about Braxophone. Again, see, these people brought up more individuals, Sevi, 1010, and Ren. I don't think y'all are cowards because he just brought this up, but I implore you to at least provide substance to these claims and give your own experience with these individuals if you can. It's important. It allows us to get to the bottom of this stuff. I'm almost certain he has spoken ill of me to them, though. Okay, hearsay. If I'm wrong, I apologize sincerely. But just as he had his negative assumptions of me, that is also my sentiment after more of his characteristics came to light. Fair. Very fair. I get that. Yeah, I have no disagreement with Atsu on this regard. I get it. When we first met, he walked up to me with a bunch of cosplayers, and then he started talking to me as if we were friends. Now, this is weird. Talking to me as if we were friends. This is weird because it's just like, what do you mean by that? What does it even mean to talk to somebody as if they're friends? It's such a broad way to define an instance of an interaction. And it makes me think about all the times I went to nerd events and strangers came up to me like they were my friend, because that's what we do, weebs and nerds, when we at anime conventions and these little nerd events, and I see you over there reading a manga and it's something I like. I'm like, yo, Bleach, what's up, bro? Hell yeah, man. Gonna dap it up, baby. Yeah, it was good, man. Yeah, I fuck with Bleach too. You know what I'm saying? You watch One Piece? Hell yeah. Like, you're gonna come to other weebs and nerds like your friends. You know, it shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be problematic. Again, it goes back to like being mature and cordial. It's not a big deal. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it. And I did not know who he was at the time. Yeah, I don't buy this either. And again, I'm just being honest. The reason I don't buy this is because if they're going to these events, they've already had a good amount of notoriety to their name. They're already known by the community. And let me tell you something, when you're in these content creator communities for these games, everybody knows everybody who's popping off. It's just horseshit to say you didn't know who he was. Like, I just don't buy that. It's like me saying I don't know who Sevi is. I don't even talk to Sevi, but I know who she is because we're in the same space. Her content pops up sometimes. I don't even watch her content, but it still pops up, right? So it's a bit disingenuous, but I can't prove that, right? That's a fine example of why sometimes tangible evidence can be garbage, right? Because it's like, this is a perfect scenario of I can't prove it, but I mean, you can draw an easy conclusion. You get what I mean? Continuing on, it was weird at best, very uncomfortable, and borderline creepy at worst. Saying it's borderline creepy that he came up to you, talked to you as if you were friends. Again, another massive stretch, man. I can't. But again, I wasn't there, so I can't really say any much more than that. But creepy that somebody comes up to you, talk to you like you're friends when you're in the same event. It's weird. It's a stretch. He asked me to send him the photo he took, so I followed him back. Stupid mistake, since this could have all been avoided if I never did that, and DM'd him the photo we took. Yeah, so I mean, you kind of just like killed your own argument right here, which is why you put stupid mistake. Yeah, you made him feel like everything was okay by taking those actions, and you just tried to cover it by saying this. But I mean, fair game. That was already an uncomfortable interaction, but following that, Braxophone's characteristics would be displayed pretty evidently from his tweets. All right, so we're getting to the meat of the soup here. Okay, Braxophone would incessantly tweet about growth, numbers, financial status, friendships, how he's perceived and wants to be perceived, etc. And fair enough, there's plenty of creators like that. But in all caps, I do not want to be friends with someone like that. A man who seems to be very ambitious, a man who seems to be tweeting about things pertaining to his growth. How is that in any way, shape, or form a villain or a bad thing? What do you I do not want to be friends with someone like that. You would think that the previous things that he's talking to about this person is something like, oh, I like lollies who resemble 10-year-olds in real life. I don't want to be friends with someone like that, right? Oh, this guy, he likes to jerk off to deepfake AI. I don't want to be friends with someone like that. You don't want to be friends with a man who has ambitions, who wants to grow, and everything he tweets about is how he can improve his business and improve himself. There's nothing wrong with what you just said about Brax, but you tried to spin it like this was a good argument. I feel like this is a terrible argument. You know what's funny? The first person that comes to mind is Andrew Tate. Now listen, polarizing figure. I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says, but he is definitely an intelligent individual. And I think overall, what he stands for is good for the average male. But apart from all that, I can only imagine his response to another man saying he doesn't want to be friends with a man who's talking about growth numbers, financial status, friends, and how he wants to be perceived. How you want to be perceived is everything, honestly. But like, I can only imagine the how hard he would go. He'd probably call Atsu a loser, if I'm being honest. He really would. He'd probably say this guy's an absolute fucking loser. You should relish to be friends with people like that. And I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. I think you should love to be friends with somebody like this, right? And again, I'm not an Andrew Tate dick rider by any means. I think he does way too much virtue signaling and way too much slurp gripping of his own goddamn cock. But that said, I agree with him on this sentiment, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. In fact, it makes it, again, it's a bad argument. It's just, what the fuck? There's nothing wrong with this, man. A man's ambitions. It's pretty obvious following both of these twit-longers, Braxophone is obsessed with the idea of social climbing or climbing the ladder. Another incredibly cringe take. It's so cringe. This is just as dumb as when the other person I got on the other day said, I don't monetize drama. Like making money off of drama is a bad thing, when in fact the whole goddamn world makes money off drama, damn near. Or they involve themselves in drama. Every show and movie that is out on the TV is drama. All right, it has drama in it. Your relationship has drama in it. There's drama in and of itself is not a bad thing. A lot of lessons learned, a lot of experiences acquired through drama. So this saying he's obsessed with the idea of social climbing or climbing the ladder, social climbing, which is, in other words, allow me to replace that with networking and trying to meet individuals that are more successful than yourself, and climbing the ladder, trying to move up and have more notoriety, more exposure, more renown. This is fundamental business, my boy. This is not a bad thing that Brax is saying, I want to talk to these guys. I want to get to know them. That's going to help me in the business that I'm in. I want to climb up the ladder and be bigger and better and be more successful. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing. Absolutely. So it's really crazy to me that these people try to spin this as if it's like a bad thing. You know what's funny? I wish I was better at social climbing and climbing ladders. The problem with me, I can't tell you, and this is getting off topic just a little bit, but it's important and it is relevant to this. Thousands of times, no exaggeration, thousands of times I've had content creators tell me, you are severely underrated. How the hell do you only have 60,000 subs? I feel like you should be just as big as these other content creators. This is not virtue signaling, this is the God's honest truth. And if you've said this before, please comment down below to let me know I'm not bullshitting. The problem with me is I'm terrible at networking, and I'm terrible at trying to get in the good graces of companies and businesses that would clearly help me grow. If I was better at marketing myself and talking to more creators in the space, I'd probably have double the fucking subs, but I don't do that. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm the problem. That's a wrong way to run business. That's the right way to do business. You network with people and you do try to climb the ladder. Every corporate fucking job out there, you're trying to climb the ladder. Why is this being spun like it's a bad thing, guys? Am I tripping? All right, let's move on. His first twit longer was a literal self-report that he just saw me as a way to network into other creators and open himself up to a larger part of the community. He didn't see me as a person. He saw me as an opportunity to grow. Actually, you're talking out your ass there. He saw you as a person and as somebody he respected in the space with enough notoriety to associate himself with. And again, I think there's nothing wrong with this so long as he's not doing like snake behavior. It's okay. And it's not like Brax has 2 fucking subscribers. Brax is a very prominent guide maker. So it's not like he needs you to succeed. He could succeed very well without you, but why not have you when he knows you have connections? It's just crazy. The most comical thing about all this is after his many sad tweets, and even for his initial twit longer, some people, smaller creators, reached out to him publicly and he ignored all of them. Hearsay, 100%. You need evidence for this. All that tells me is that they simply weren't clouded enough for your standards. I find this odd though. I do. I find this odd that you're throwing all these things at Braxophone, but I've seen Braxophone cool with all kinds of creators of different sizes. I have. Braxophone, in fact, Ioku. You're literally friends with Braxophone and you're at 30,000 subscribers. That's a prime example, or 20,000 subscribers. Braxophone's at 220,000 subscribers. Atsu, every single one of your friends is a massive creator. And I've only ever seen you do collabs with those guys. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Chat, YouTube, Atsu, if you're watching this, were you friends with them before they blew up, or were you friends with them when they were already big? I'd love to know that. That's a genuine question, because if you're gonna go ahead and say they weren't clouded enough for your standards, but you have nothing but friends that are big creators, at least in my eyes, well, hell, I'd say look in the mirror, buddy. All right, during an Anime Expo offline TV party, as Brax said, he and I were in attendance. And yes, as he glosses over this with lighter words, he literally just walks up to me and says, blank, the voice actor for blank in Genshin, and no, not Tignati, someone else, is a sexual predator. And I'm just like, now this is where I 100% side with Atsu. Absolutely. If I were in Atsu's shoes, I'd be like, what, bro, what? I'd be taken aback too. And not only would I be taken aback, but I'd be like, bro, why are you telling me about another man's business as a conversation opener? Furthermore, why are you here saying it at that? That is some very serious allegations that could end somebody's entire career, put them in jail even for many years. And you said it to me, and there's no way to really prove that. Yeah, it is a massive red flag. And it's actually a catalyst to why I can feel Atsu 100% for saying I don't trust this guy. Like, just that interaction alone is just weird. It doesn't matter about social awkwardness, and it doesn't dismiss the fact that you just came up to me and eavesdropped or just like gossiped. That's what it is. You just gossiped some very serious allegations out the goddamn blue. I can't even defend him in that. That's just the truth. I don't know what y'all want me to say else about that. And I love Brax. I'm not even friends with Brax, by the way. I've spoken with Brax a number, maybe, honestly, probably 5 times. 5 times in total I've spoken with Brax. I do like him. I have a good opinion of him, but we're not friends. We're just not. But I do like him. All right, anyways. Oh yeah, we already seen this. Brax is in Brax's light novel. Let's move on. Naturally, I was shocked and confused, and he's right. This was a big yikes to bring up to me out of nowhere. Okay, he then talks about how we are taking photos, and truth be told, and I'm sure the others were too, shocked when Brax self-inserted himself. Well, don't try to speak for everyone else. Speak for your damn self. Into our group photo. He claims that Dish pulled him in, and I do not know whether that is true or not. Yes, you do, man. First of all, why would he put that in a novel that is about to be shown to the public, where Dish herself will see it? And if he's lying, she's gonna say, yeah, I didn't do that. You know that was true. What the hell are you talking about? And if you go look at the picture, him and Dish are right by each other. And then Dish herself made a response to Brax's post saying, I'm so sorry you dealt with this. I had no idea you were battling this. And yeah, I did think it was weird that Atsu was treating you this way. So yeah, this is garbage. Then that is a misunderstanding on my part, and I apologize. But if that's the case, then that is a misunderstanding on my part, and I apologize. Okay, following that incident, you can't just gloss that though. You can't just gloss that after saying this. But whatever. Following that incident, someone else in our group says, let's take a housemate's photo. Hearsay. Yeah, sorry. Because this right here is covering his ass as to why Braxophone isn't in the next photo. Yeah, that's a convenient excuse. Such a convenient excuse. While I was unhappy Braxophone put himself in the original photo we took, I am not the one that excluded him from whatever other photos we took. This is what I'm saying. And there's literally no way for us to prove this. You see why I say I implore these other people that were there to speak up? You can't prove that. It's such a convenient excuse, and there's nothing I can do about that other than take his word, you know? And I'm not taking his word. What I'm saying is, I can't argue that. I can't refute that. Last note on this. Saki showed me his apology to her for leaking her face, and it was just pathetic. The good news is I don't think a lot of my audience aligns with you in Tawano, so things are probably safe. But yeah, I didn't know. Sorry. I hope everything is still under control. First of all, just reading that, there's nothing about that that's pathetic. What the fuck are you on about? Numbers, audience, growth, bigger creators, climbing the ladder. That's all he cares about. What? That's what you drew from that? He does not, hold on, he does not care that Saki is a VTuber, and getting doxxed like that is a terrifying experience. The way he glosses over it and tries to minimize this was enough for me to know that this guy was just red flags all over. He didn't even gloss over it. What are you talking about? It's down. I'm so sorry. The good news is I don't think a lot of my audience aligns with you and Tuanos. So things are probably safe. But yeah, I didn't know. Sorry. I hope everything is still under control. Name. Okay, now you said numbers, audience growth. Bro, you are completely reaching and misinterpreting this. He's saying they don't have the same audience to try and ease her mind of being exposed. He's trying to say, hey, the mind doesn't even know who you are, let alone, you exist. So it should be fine, hopefully. But that's what you do in a situation when you realize that you've just kind of stepped on somebody's toes. You try to immediately rectify it, and you're probably in a bit of a panic mode too. And you're like, damn it, oh fuck, what can I do? Let me just try to make her feel better. I'm dead ass. Like this is not. If he was out of pocket, I'd say it. You are the one that's out of pocket drawing this crazy ass conclusion. This ain't got nothing to do with this, bro. He's literally trying to make amends immediately. He took the shit down and apologized. So what are you on about? And I would like to reiterate, even though I put it in part 1, nobody told this man who this woman was. That is not his responsibility to know when he doesn't know. Who you think he is, bro? You think he's a magician? You think he is a divination god? Like, bro, he doesn't know that she was a VTuber. That's her fault. She needs to be more careful and more vigilant with regards to protecting that identity. What the fuck you on about? That don't make sense. I already went off on it in the first one. I'm not gonna spend too much time there, but garbage. I would rate this a 0 out of 10 scenario in comparison to Braxophone. Just like I would rate this shit right here for Brax a 0 out of 10 scenario. 0 points. Dr. Ratio would be disappointed. After all this, I made it very clear to the people around me that I do not wish to be in a shared space with him and that I do not want to be associated with him. Again, nobody still knows. Actually, I guess you're kind of telling it right now. And these are just garbage excuses. I do find this weird. I find this weird that you said you don't want to be in a shared space with him and do all these things like he's just such a big villain. But at the whole entire time, he was just trying to reconcile things with you. That's what's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure this meant Braxophone was excluded for my sake at gathering or parties, and for that, I feel sorry for him. However, this does not stop him from contacting other people like a grown-ass man and just talking to them and befriending them without having it be about me. Well, that is, unless you are the one jeopardizing this man's connections behind the scenes, which is very important. Very important. Again, there's no tangible evidence, but that's what Brax believes. So don't try to make it seem like he's obsessed with you. He's trying to make sure you aren't jeopardizing and compromising this man's career. Big difference. But no, what does he do? He does contact them and he does make it all about me. Well, it's quite out there that you don't like him, that you have connections. Take a look at his tweet longer. He goes into psychoanalyzing my relationship to my friends, going through my channel, my numbers, my growth, my collabs, insinuating I use my friends solely to grow and climb the ladder. Well, here's the thing. He has to provide as much substance, just like you're providing the substance you can. He has to provide as much information as possible to back up the claims he just threw at you. Okay, the more information he provides, the more weight he has to the argument. It's not weird that he went above and beyond to check all these things out, also that he can make a good argument to what he was getting ready to say. It's important to do. I'm sorry to break this to you, Brax, but if you really were parasocial like you claimed and knew anything about me, you would know I have publicly gone on record to say that I dislike doing collabs and that I often turn them down from friends and other creators regardless of their size. I mean, that can be like considered gatekeeping, honestly. It can. Objectively speaking, you could just imply that that is a gatekeeper. Unlike you, I do not view my friends as stepping stones for growth. Well, yeah, we don't know that. We don't know that. I mean, yeah, we don't know that. I'm not going to say he does or he doesn't. I want to deep dive into this whole twit longer when I get time, but there are two more things I want to point out. This is slimy and utterly disgusting. Okay, I imagine it's huge. Do you want to know what Braxophone is referring to? A girl who was attending the party had been sexually assaulted in the past by another creator, not at the party, but they don't want to talk about it and they don't want to come out publicly. And this is where Braxophone pretty much, okay, we'll just read it. I'm not going to drop any names in relation to this because I don't want to implicate or share their stories before they're ready to come out themselves. At one of the parties, a specific creator that he may or may not want to protect caused a lot of trouble for both Atsu and some of the girls at the party. Everyone's being told to shut the fuck up about it and not talk about what happened. Maybe that's what Atsu meant when he said I couldn't keep things confidential. He's reaching. But at the same time, he wouldn't be reaching if you just came out and straight up told him why. But that doesn't give him say so to keep reaching. At the same time, I don't blame him. Like, it's driving him insane why you don't want to be friends with him. So he's just trying to figure out in every scenario that's ever occurred, why. That I couldn't keep secrets about harassment, peer pressure, and more. But what do I know? I wasn't there. Or if you wasn't there, then you don't have the right to talk about it. I just heard the same story from two different people who were. That's gossip. That's gossip, man. There's no evidence there. It's not okay. Like, Brax, you gotta learn. This shit is gossip, my boy. You can't go around taking gossip and then presenting it like it's tangible and concrete proof. And those stories also align with other things I've been told by people who were flown out to see the same creator. Now this I can understand, but it's hearsay. Why does Atsu not have a problem with it? Maybe Atsu does, but he wouldn't want it to come out because this late, that would implicate him as someone who let it slide. Now, the funny thing is, it has a trail of breadcrumbs and it makes sense, but it's a huge accusation without any proof, you know, and that's the problem. But like reading all this stuff, it is beautifully, you know, aligned and it's not incoherent. It makes sense, but there's no evidence, which is unfortunate, but that's the truth. Now, going back to this, he said, this is slimy and utterly disgusting. So why is it slimy and utterly disgusting? That is the victim's place to talk about it, not yours. The fact you are weaponizing someone else's trauma to attack my character and your self-admitted source or rumors makes me utterly repulsed. You are sick and so unbelievably self-centered and self-obsessed. Okay, relax. Again, the reaching in this shit is insane. All right, because he didn't even say her name. The way you're going at him implies that he straight up ousted her. The only people who are going to know about the scenario are the people who already know about the scenario. Let's simmer down here, little pup. It is not that serious because he did not say the name. If he says the name, cool, go off, do your thing, speak your piece. But brother has kept her as anonymous as you have. So what the fuck are you waffling about over here, my boy? That's crazy. And again, he's not weaponizing it. Somebody else's trauma to attack your character. He has to provide a lot of information that paints his argument and gives more concrete proof to his argument, or as much as he can at least. Like, you got to understand, you are the root of this guy's problems in his eyes. And a lot of things kind of point in that direction, to be fair. It's just not tangible. I really hope people wake up and just realize what this man is saying. Caused a lot of trouble for both Atsu and some of the girls. So why would I want to protect this person if he's causing me problems? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of crazy things occur in that manner out there in the world where people are protecting people that are causing them problems. It's a good question. We don't have the full story there, but I'm not gonna condemn you either. All right, he follows us up with, but what do I know? I wasn't there. So why are you speaking on it? Now that, yeah, I stand by that 100%. I stand by this. You are out of pocket to speak on that which you weren't present for. I can't even refute that. He got him there. Good one. Next, why does Atsu not have a problem with it? Maybe Atsu does, but he wouldn't want it to come out because this late, that would implicate him as someone who let it slide. When someone else has a traumatic experience, you do not speak on their behalf. It depends. It varies from scenario to scenario. There's been plenty of times where somebody didn't speak up because they're too goddamn traumatized and they just don't have the strength to. So somebody else does, and guess what? Their life actually does improve. And then there's been times where somebody speaks up and, you know, maybe things get worse. Maybe that person takes their own life. I don't know. But like, you can't just straight up say in all caps like this. It varies from scenario to scenario. But most of the time when people don't speak up, it is actually a net negative. It is. Like right now, I would argue that Braxophone speaking up about this is doing him way more positive than him not speaking up about it. If they want to speak their actual truth, let them. I repeat, you are disgusting. No, he's not. The fact you are weaponizing this and insinuating that I'm letting sexual assault slide is so fucking disingenuous. Yeah, bro, I think you're just, at this point, it's evident to me that Atsu is completely in his feelings, which is compromising his ability to rationalize things. The crazy thing is I can't even really give him a pass because he's typing it, you know? So you got time to simmer down, bro. You got time to sip a little tea. All right, you got time to go to Ba Sing Se with the uncle, with what's his name's uncle? I'm talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and let him talk some sense into you. But you still out here wilding on these caps. All right, bro, you gotta relax. Now, please, Braxophone, take your own insinuation tactics and apply them to yourself. Please share to the world who this sexual predator, or in your own sugar-coated twit longer words, a terror or a creep is. It's a good point, but he doesn't have the evidence, right? It's a good point, though. It is. Do you want to protect this person? Are you afraid you're going to implicate as someone who let it slide? No, right? Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a good point. You're not keeping this horrible secret under wraps to protect this person, right? Or is it because, in your own words, because this late that would implicate him as someone who let it slide? Surely you're not protecting your insecurities onto me, right? Let me have the tiniest ounce of what minuscule respect I have for you remain intact, but I have to ask, why does this one thing apply to me and not apply to you? So he makes a very strong and compelling argument here, but the one thing I can say to defend Brax is Brax was not there, whereas you were there. So, you know, what's the word I'm thinking for? I can't think of it. Basically, let's pretend that this scenario is true. You know the word I'm thinking for. I just didn't come to the head. If the scenario is true, you look way more guilty than him because you were actually there to witness it. He just heard some gossip. You get what I'm saying? And then he did actually share that gossip. He did. He shared it with you, to which you then chose to not go public with, and you were also there. So you actually look more guilty in this scenario if it was true, not Brax. Brax did at least communicate it to you. You didn't communicate it to anybody. It's important, and I'm being fair here, guys. I'm not trying to fucking condemn Atsu. I'm just being as rational as I can with the information provided. Finally, to Braxophone again, the subtweet in my tweet addressing Tectone, you're right. My assumption was that it was 90% you leaking stuff to him and manipulating him. After your tweet longer now, I'm 99% sure it is you. And yeah, I might be wrong. Maybe you're not defeating. No, you're right. It is definitely probably with him. But everything from my perspective points to you. This doesn't really say much, though, because you don't like him. And you keep saying that he held a grudge, but if anything, you held a grudge because for years you have avoided this man and constantly made it clear that you don't like him, not only to him, but also to your friends and potentially other people. So it's like, this doesn't really say much. Of course you would think it's Brax. Seems like you literally hate Brax. And there's not really a good concrete factor as to why. It's insane. You literally have a paragraph stating I get to pick and choose who works for Hoyoverse. The exact narrative that Tectone has been feeding to his audience. You have held this obsessive, borderline stalker-like grudge towards me. Who else has that? Tectone. Now, you know, Tectone has a reason to hold a grudge to you. Now, I don't really believe in people holding grudges. You know, I believe in people forgiving, but I don't believe in people forgetting. Because if you forget, well, you forget that this person was a douchebag and potentially somebody who's not worth being around. But bro, you, as I said in the part one, you had no grounds to try and force Tectone to befriend somebody that clearly you know, harassed him and his wife. He has every bit of his right, should he choose, to say fuck this guy. And then you were kind of in the middle of him and the goose hole ordeal. It makes perfect sense, but bringing his name into this is like wild in this regard, because if you give the context of that situation, yeah, it's a bit weird, and you're more out of pocket than Tectone is. You had the audacity and lack of self-awareness to message me again after I made it clear I did not want to be your friend, asking me for financial advice with Hoyoverse from this discussion. It looks like you wanted to talk about a contract without stating so. So of course I'm going to think you are Tectone's source. And now see, this is where I think where it's like grudge and this is symbolizing a bit of obsession. Why are you reaching with your Tectone source? Like, dude, it's almost like you are obsessing over who the source was, and it's driving you insane. That's a bit of an obsession. Not entirely, but you can draw a conclusion from that. But you're saying you had the audacity and lack of self-awareness to message me again after I made it clear I did not want to be your friend. Fair. That is fair. It is. If he told you he didn't like you, why are you still hitting him up? It's kind of weird. Asking me for financial advice with Hoyoverse. Okay. Of course, I'm going to think you're technical source. All right. So, yo, this is Brax. Yo, could I ask you some 36 minutes? Oh, that's not bad. Yo, could I ask you some Genshin Hoyoverse business related stuff? You definitely know this space better than I do, and this is going to be a pretty big deal for me if it goes through. I'd ask others, but I don't know how many creators are getting deals like this. Sure. How very curious of you. That just dismantles everything you just said up here. You had the audacity and lack of self-awareness to message me again after I made it clear I did not want to be your friend. But you sure as shit didn't turn it down. Why? Do pray tell why you said sure if you are, if you're sending this message to him. Sure? So you're nosy enough to want to know about the deal. It's not a good look. What sort of things should I be looking at for a total content buyout? Not sure exactly how I should price myself if a company wants to buy exclusivity, no content, including streams on a competitive games and rights to some of my videos. I'm aware of how much I would ask if it was a video by video basis, but this is more of a make content you want to make, but no competition. And also we own a fraction of your stuff for a year. So this basically seems like they're telling him he can only make Hoyoverse content. He cannot make content about, I don't know, Wuthering Waves or some other game. At the point in time, figuring out what a brand is worth seems hard. I also don't know if it's worth missing opportunities in the future games. Do you have to hit certain milestones and quotas? And he blocked out the rest of it, which is actually kind of sus. But okay, it seems like he came to you for financial advice, even though you said he had the audacity of that and you accepted it. So at that point, you've obliterated your own little thing up here. Tecton has been obsessively yapping about contracts and how creators are forced to be positive. Is this what he's referring to? As someone parading themselves as an advocate for change about all these contracts silencing creators into being Hoyoverse shields alongside Tecton, speak. I'm not exactly sure what the point is here. What is he trying to say? Is he? Yeah, I'm not entirely. You lost me there. I don't know what your point is. You didn't exactly say it out loud. Of course, I guess you're making it in a way as if I'm supposed to know what it is. I don't know what the hell the point was right there. Braxophone hits you up about financial advice about trying to get into the pockets of Hoyoverse. I guess you're trying to say that we're over here advocating for change, which this is way past tense. This is in 2022. This is 2024. So, but if your argument here is that Brax is clearly doing the exact opposite of what we're advocating today, that doesn't really, that's a terrible argument. But I dead ass don't know what the hell he's trying to get at here. I absolutely pity myself back then for giving you the benefit of the doubt and giving you a thorough response of financial guidance. And let's be real here. You were actually nosy. Don't try to make it seem like you were being a nice guy. Your ass was nosy as shit about that deal. Okay, let's calm down. Feel free to show all our DMs. You have my permission. And just so you know, this isn't a threat. This is simply if you wish to elaborate on XYZ. It's important that he establishes this because it would come off as a threat. That's smart on him. You are free to share anything in our DMs. Carrying on, Tecton yesterday kept deflecting whenever his own chat, and I challenged him to share his mystery source, feeding him this info that I had all his power over Hoyoverse. Well, of course he's not going to say the source. He doesn't want to rat the fucking the source out. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Naturally, he only has three options: admit it's a lie, reveal the source, or throw someone under the bus. Yeah, the timing of you coming out and virtually saying the same thing with this twit longer just seems all too coincidental. Well, yeah, the cat's out of the bag. I think after, no doubt about it, it's Braxophone. And there's nothing wrong with it. Because, I'm sounding like a broken record at this point. Of course, he's trying to, in his mind, you're the root of all his problems. So for me, it just completely looks like you're the one spinning narratives. Oh, thank God, we're already at the end. Manipulate. Okay, let's do it again. So for me, it's just completely looks like you are the one spinning narratives and manipulating Tecton as a way to attack me indirectly. If I am wrong about this and you have not spoken to Tecton whatsoever about me in this regard, you have not spoken about this supposed contract, I sincerely apologize. Only you and Tecton know the answer to this, and ultimately I cannot trust either of you to be truthful, and I genuinely hope you can see why I look so very much like you are the source. Brother, you could take this entire little last sentence here and redirect it back at yourself. You really can. I really have to go now, and I will elaborate far more later when I get time to. I hate that I'm busy this weekend. Yeah, good old. Started off with I'm busy and ended off with I'm busy. That shit's funny, bro. The timing of this just seems premeditated, as I already announced how busy I would be. You're reaching, bro. But here we are, a closing message to Braxophone. I do not want to be your stepping stone or your friend. Leave me the F alone. I am so heated typing this out right now because I've had to deal with your obsessive stalker ass behavior in silence for the last 2 to 3 fucking years. Well, again, to be fair, if you're the fucking reason that this man is not getting sponsorships and not getting accepted into events, well, I'd probably be on your ass for 2 to 3 years, except I wouldn't have took so long to speak up about it. I would have went straight to the meat of the source and got straight jiggy with it. But now that we've read all of this, yeah, man, at the end of the day, it's a lot of he say, she say shit with some actual credible sources that need to speak up. At the end of the day, Atsu, I'll be honest, you come off as an absolute douchebag. And after all the things that have been said, even if Brax is sus in the way he's came about things, his genuine approach to you to try to reconcile all the awkwardness, to alleviate any tension and animosity, that was evident. And your constant ability to like Heisman him and say, get out my face. Yeah, it leaves you looking like an absolute fucking douchebag. And then saying I don't want to be friends with you is fair. Nobody's ever said you had to be friends with him. He didn't even say it. He's just saying he wishes y'all could get along and go to events and be cordial with one another. So there might not be any compelling evidence that you're guilty in all of this, but there's definitely evidence that you're an asshole. And not the kind of asshole that I am. No, you're the kind of asshole who just feels like they're pompous and condescending and that they don't want to let anybody into their circle. But that's what I got out of all of this. I'm just glad to be done with this, guys. I tried to be as fair as I could to my degree. You comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, YouTube. I'm out, man. I got nothing else to say.